welcome into Closest to the Wind post Masters edition. What a crazy, you know what? The Masters drained me. We spent all that time and all that energy putting on 3 or 4 different shows. We had Jeff Feinberg on. It was a lot of fun. We had a great week. But boy, we sure didn't win like we thought we would. But you know what? You have those weeks, right? I mean, gosh, if it was easy, anybody would do it.
That's the thing. I think everybody thinks it's easy, so that's why we all try it. So it's who can take the butt kicking and come back and do it again, and that's why we're here.
That's exactly right, Guru. I appreciate that. I needed a little word of encouragement, man. It's been I've been licking my wounds. I feel like I got some kind of infection in my neck, and it's just.
I was ready to party come Friday, and by Sunday I was pretty depressed. But kudos to Hideki.
We didn't hear from you for 3 days.
I was ready to move to Mexico after Friday, and then by Sunday I was ready to go beg for change on the corner.
The funny thing is, the Masters is typically one of the most predictable golf tournaments on the calendar. It certainly wasn't that way this year. There was some chalk there, but for the most part, kind of just everywhere. You know, it was a kind of an everywhere leaderboard, and Justin's boy got it done.
But you know what? Watching Hideki and seeing that guy win, I was happy. I was just glad it wasn't Justin Rose and the Leprechaun himself. I didn't want the Leprechaun to win, and that's mean, but I'm just being silly. But no, it was really cool watching him. That whole country watched. And did you guys catch every now and then during the broadcast they would play the broadcast sound from Japan?
Yeah,
and yeah, that was crazy. Ryan just pops in there and says, "I'm sad. I have 4 of 6 guys that won the Millie." Yeah. Unfortunately, it takes all 6. But
I think it's crazy what happened with the weather delay. How different things were when all the guys came back on the course, and that when Hideki made his move, he won the tournament on Saturday afternoon.
He sure did,
and it changed everything. And I thought that was one of the big storylines for me.
Yeah.
The fact it's the one tourney we didn't have outrights, right, Justin?
I've bet Hideki to win the Masters for years, and fell off the wagon this year. And I'm really happy for him. But
if you bet to win him again, you're probably going to be donating money. So I don't expect him to win. You know what I mean? This was your one shot, dude. So
every year from now on, just to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah. I had way too much action on this, especially in DFS. Like I said in that one tweet, I said, what was it? I said something about the saline and the tears of my internal tears. I couldn't even sell plasma because there was too much saline in my blood from the internal tears.
There you go.
So, that's true story, by the way. No, just kidding. But anyway, but you know what? We got a big tournament. This is the RBC Heritage. It's Hilton Head. It's a coastal course, and it's a very short course compared to what we've been seeing. What is it? Right around 7,000.
It's like 71 and some change. Yeah.
Yeah, 71 and some change. It's definitely not a long hitter advantage. It's definitely going to be a shot shape, second shot type course. Tiny little postage stamp greens, and so. Everything I see and read and recall is, this is definitely one of those courses where you actually want to include good putters in your metrics. And so I've definitely included putting in my metrics this time, whereas I didn't have them in there in the last couple of tournaments, nowhere near the way I do this time. But anyway, talk about the course a little bit, Guru, and some of the metrics that you put into the model this week.
So a couple of things. So I was actually down in Hilton Head part of Saturday, so I poked around, and it's first time I'd been in a long time.
It's a live report, folks.
Yeah.
Down from the grounds of Hilton Head.
So they're advertising the rough as, 3/4 of an inch. I'm not, on Saturday, it was pretty, it seemed less than that, non-existent. So if that's what they're going to call it, that's fine. I don't really think there's really any rough to speak of. That's what I saw, just the little places I walked. But the big thing is, TV doesn't really do it justice because, it's pretty narrow to begin with, but your eyes are typically drawn to some spots like, that's just prototypical die. But the one thing this course has that a lot of his other courses don't have are these, just big gigantic trees that, you've got that 25-yard wide, fairway, but with those trees, in spots of it, it probably knocks a couple of, yards off of each side. So, you basically need to aim straight down the middle and hope you get it within a couple of yards, every little bit of down the middle. Or if you just blink and just, have some sort of herky-jerky motion in your swing, you're screwed, because you're either going to go slightly to the left and put yourself in a bad spot, because as we all know that, Dye's got these, great spots where you're supposed to put the ball, or you're going to go right. And then, if it's not so much the grass that's going to get you, it's just going to get the dirt, the rock, the roots from these big trees just off in the rough. So it's just a total hodgepodge of just chaos, but different kind of chaos. And so I don't really have much in the way of long hitter metrics. This is more boring. This is more driving accuracy. It's a tough course to get, greens and reg, but, you're scrambling, you're putting. But the difference between now and last June, in June, it was the straight Bermuda, but the weather over the winter has been cold and wet and gross. So they've got the overseed. So they've got the POA coming through, so it'll look nice, but it won't actually putt the same. But the nice thing is it's slow, it's straight. There's really not much break. So even a not so awesome putter can get lucky, but I'm still going to take my chances with some of the better ones in the field. But looking at it, the course history is going to play a little part, but I have that dialed down a little bit. The comps are up a little bit. I've got my world famous, die specialist marks in there with a little, Jack Nicklaus juice on top. And
a little Jack Nicklaus juice on top.
I did. I've got a little, fairy dust. I've got a little Muirfield in there too, and things like that. So that'll be, interesting to see how that, tweaks it out a little bit. The form, I've gotten back to kind of the three match, the three periods of time, kind of the short, the medium, and the long. But I've got the short and the medium dialed up just because there's only a handful, elite guys here. More so than normal, but fewer than last June.
Actually, the field looks pretty stacked to me. I mean, compared to what I thought it was going to be.
For sure. In my mind, I still have like the, 2016, 17, 18, and, 19. It's last year that's kind of the, outlier, but I guess 2 in a row, I guess it's really not as much of an outlier anymore. So let's see the comps, the odds, the form. Oh, so I've got the Tiff Eagle putting in there. I've got the off the tee weighted pretty non-existent. I've got the approach and the around the green, dialed up pretty good. And I don't really have any. I guess I've got the par 4 kind of sprinkled in a little bit, but it's really just more, keep it down, get it in the fairway, pray you're down the middle of the fairway. A little bit of scrambling, and kind of see what shakes out.
So I got
kind of boring, but
I put a little bit more than that in scrambling because of just how small these greens are. So I got quite a bit of weight on scrambling around the green and putting.
Around the green's pretty heavy for me compared to normal.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Nick hit it on the head. We talked about claustrophobic tee shots. This golf course has a lot of them, which is why you've seen past winners that don't necessarily hit the ball very long.
Accurate.
You can be in parts of the fairway where you still are blocked out by a tree, right? It's not even being in the fairway. It's where are you in the fairway? Are you on the left-hand side or in the right-hand side? If you can place your ball, if you can hit it where you want to, and that is why I'm mad Bryson stepped out too, because what the hell was Bryson doing at this golf course? I mean, this golf course, it would be like, in my opinion, this golf course is the worst golf course ever for Bryson DeChambeau. I mean,
that's why I have a feeling that's probably one of the reasons.
What the hell did he not know what this golf course was when he signed? I mean, this golf course will eat you alive. I don't know how you smash drivers all day around this place.
I honestly believe that he's so cerebral. He's going to go to work. He's going to go practice. And I think he took some. I think he was humiliated. This is like the second tournament in a row at the Masters where he was like one of the heavy favorites, and everybody was cameras all over him in practice. And Vijay Singh was and all the banter, and he just went out there and laid an egg day after day after day. I mean, I guess Friday he had a good round on Friday.
Yeah, like Pro says, if you come out and say it's a par 67, I mean, you're kind of putting yourself out there for it a little bit, you know.
Yeah, he did deserve some of that. You're right.
Yeah.
Skinny Bryson could do okay here. I mean, he got second a couple years ago. It's just he's not Skinny Bryson anymore. So
No.
You know.
750 range shots. Is that a fact?
Still bad for his back, man. My back.
All Falcon Day had to be there with a counter.
Yep. No, there was. They showed him against Hideki, and it was like a 450 shot difference on the range over the course of the week.
That's crazy. You know what? He was just enjoying putting on the show, wasn't he?
I mean, he loves him some him. So whatever he can do, like to go out and hit ball, like that's just how he is. But he'll tell you he's working super hard, but that his oxygen levels aren't correct or something. So the dude's a clown, in my opinion, but he's fun to watch at least.
Well, he's out. And you know what? I think Guru sent a text to us earlier this week saying, don't be surprised if we see a few other names exit by the time it goes. Or, no, I thought you said maybe trunk slamming on Friday or something like that to that nature.
The last week's a blur, man. That's all I can say. I'm just happy the model got out in one piece.
Well, let me
we did get the Westwood fade. He did miss the cut.
Yeah.
That was a winner. That was a winner.
You said half the names won't be worth your time. Expect more than a few names to bounce out the door Friday.
Here. Yeah, for sure. I'm not a big fan of really anybody up top, honestly. Looking back at the lineups and just the way the history's gone here, I'll put some up to play and can come up with a fade, but honestly, I think I may fade everybody over 10K and take my chances in the middle. Historically, and even comparing some of the comp tourneys, the 10,000 and overs, there's going to be one or two that really show up, but I'm more comfortable playing, the 7s, 8s, and 9s. I think there's a lot of good value here. I mean, the last 5 years here, the winner's been 110-1. And, as an average, in the last 10, it's been 75. So, I mean, even if you make your floor like 50-1, that's going to eliminate a lot of the high salary guys anyway. And that's kind of how I'm partially going to build. But, I could make a case for some, but I wouldn't. If you're going to play somebody, I would maybe try to just go, bare minimum or kind of figure out where the, ownership percentage is and play around there. I wouldn't go all the way in on too many people. And that includes Webb too.
Right. We did get a comment about congrats to Guru for fading DJ. Don't forget that David, Hammerjack, Pro, and Justin all faded Rory, and so basically all of our big dollar fades missed the cut. And so anyway,
my personal,
I wasn't gonna let him just keep stroking Guru. And
the flex was DJ though. Yeah. We had all the reasons to fade Rory. The real nice call was the DJ call.
Totally agree.
I actually like the Sanjay on call too. I thought that was better than DJ, to be honest with you, considering he finished like second from the bottom or something.
Yeah, let me pull that up here. Yeah, the M fade. I faded Fleetwood, and Westwood was faded. He missed the cut.
I think I faded him too.
You did.
Yeah, fade his ass.
And Justin faded Justin Rose, and so that wasn't a great fade.
That was not great. I think I faded Patrick Reed too, who also
not going to win them all.
I faded Patrick Reed.
This is the comeback week, man. This is the comeback.
That's right.
So,
don't be afraid. Fade everybody this week. It'll be good.
Fade them.
Yep. And this is the comeback week, and let's go ahead and come back. Let's get with it, man. Let's get with it. Let's start with our plays and fades starting at the 10K range, and we'll start with Pro.
Yeah, I'm. This might be controversial, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna go.
Rory's not here. That would be controversial.
I'm gonna take Patrick Cantlay. I know that last week was an absolute shit show. I mean, I saw it. I realize it. There may be more things going on in his life that were taken away from the Masters. If that's the case, that's embarrassing because it's the biggest golf tournament of the year. However, we're at the RBC Heritage now. We're in beautiful Hilton Head Island.
My starter wife and I's hotel,
yes,
honeymoon place.
Exactly, the starter packages, hotel, honeymoon package there. So it's a beautiful thing.
We got breaking news here. Cantley's having girl problems.
Yeah, I may or may not have heard that as well. And if that's the case, again, don't give a shit about your girl problems. This is the Masters, right? Like, we're talking big boy golf here. However, I feel like last week was just not Patrick Cantlay. I feel like he was probably embarrassed with his performance as well. I think he bounces back this week. I also like Daniel Berger a lot. I really do. Also a guy that missed the cut last week at the Masters.
So you got Berger and Cantlay?
Yeah. I mean, he's 16th in strokes gained punting, 27th in strokes gained off the tee. He had a good finish here the last time they played, I believe, T3. I mean, Berger kind of sets up for this golf course. And if I'm going to fade one guy are we fading somebody in the 10? Is that where we're still doing that?
Yeah, okay, you got to, man.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and fade Cameron Smith. I know I wanted to step on DJ a little bit because this golf course doesn't make any sense. But again, DJ has to kind of be embarrassed with what he did last week. I'm going to go with Cameron Smith. He could play real well, and I'm just going to be like, yeah, whatever, that's fine.
Wow.
That's going to be my fade. I'm not touching Colin Morikawa. His ball striking is too good to fade, in my opinion, around this place. I'm sure one of you probably faded him, and that's fair. But I disagree with it. Heads up, I just disagree with it.
You disagree with fading who?
Colin Morikawa.
Oh, yeah.
Did you want to go 3 because there's 6 guys over?
Yes.
10?
Oh, yeah. If I get a third, it would be Colin Morikawa.
Okay. Is he a 10K player?
Yeah. Well, yeah. He already is. 10.
He's so far down my list that.
Okay.
He was down my list too. Yeah.
All right. Hey, all right. Your damn list now. We're talking. All right.
Well, he's not a great putter, and so I don't know.
That's about it, though. That's about it.
All right. Well, so you got Colin Morikawa in there.
Yep.
So you got Morikawa, Cantlay, and Berger, and you're fading Cam Smith.
Yep.
All right. That's just crazy talk. And so, all right. Let's go with Justin, man.
All right. So for my first guy, I had Berger. He's 9th in birdie average. Like Pro said, he's 16th in putting. He's got a T3 here. I think he is a great, at that price at 23-1, I got a bet on him. Nice. So Berger will be my first guy. I am going to play Cam Smith for a lot of the same reasons that I played him last week. He's an excellent putter. I think he left a lot of strokes out there at the Masters.
15. What's he doing? He's acting like a clown on 15. He puts a ball in the drink for no reason.
Oh.
And he's rolling. He's rolling, and it just killed the rest of his tournament.
It did. And he still finished top 10.
Yep.
So I can get on board with Cam Smith again this week. It's a high price it's probably might be the highest he's ever been priced, but
he's 10-2. He's at the lower end of that range.
Yeah, so. For my third guy, I'm sure this will surprise all you guys, but I'll take the defending champ, Webb Simpson.
No, you're not going to take Webb Simpson.
He'll be super high owned, but he's 12th last week despite not playing very well. And, his record on this course is as good as anybody. So give me Webb. So we got Berger, Cam Smith, Webb, and I will fade Cantlay. At 10-9, I mean, I got to see a little more.
So he's fading Pro's number 1 guy, and Pro's fading your number 1 guy. I love it.
Battling, dude. We're back and forth.
Matchup.
This is awesome. All right, Guru, let's go.
Well, I'll start with Webb. I don't, like I said, and I'll say it again, I don't really want to touch anybody over 10K, but I'm going to play along. So I'm going to take Webb. I mean, the last 10 times he's been here.
A good sport.
Yeah, for sure. Last 10 times he's been here, he's made the cut, and 7 of the 10 times they've been top 16 or better. I mean, you got to play that. You look at the last 20 rounds. I mean, he's been 12th in putting, 13th around the green. That's pretty high for me. Last 24 rounds, he's 5th in driving accuracy and 3rd in greens and reg, which is pretty high for me. And he's number 2 on my little die scale. So yeah, I'm going to play him at 10-7. I'm not really thrilled about it, but I'm going to play Cantlay too. So he's top 10 in every top 10% of the field in every category I have, except for course history, the way I moved it around. But technically you could argue he belongs too, because he's been here 3 times. He's got a 3rd, a 7th, and a 3rd. So that ought to rank right up there too. His last 20 rounds, 12th off the tee, 17th in approach, 27th around the green, and 21st in putting. Even with last week, he's still pretty well-rounded and makes a whole lot of sense. He's number 3 in my die specialist concoction, whatever you want to call it. And then the last 24 rounds.
With the sprinkle.
Yeah, with the sprinkles, right, yeah.
All right.
And then the last 24 rounds, he's 6th in greens and reg. So there's 2. Then you get down to 4, and it gets a little dicey, you know. But you know me, I'm the troublemaker. I'll go out in left field, so I'm going to take DJ. Crazy as it sounds, I'm going to take some DJ. So again, he's top 10%.
The number 1 ranked golfer in the world. So
yeah, you know, it's not much of a stretch, but you know, for here maybe. You still kind of wonder why he's here and hasn't been playing all that great. But you know, the last 3 years he's been here, he's still 16th, 28th, and 17th. You expect a little better, but it's probably not the great course for him. But you know, it's the approach game that's actually been working better for him lately than, you know, off the tee. So, you know, I mean, maybe he puts a driver away and just, you know, starts hitting some long irons and, you know, scrambles around and, you know, makes some pretty good putts. But the big thing for me, he's the number 1 on my die model, so I'm going to take him. So in, you know, in the over 10, I've got 1, 2, and 3. It just seems silly not to play him when they all make, you know, can make pretty decent arguments as to why to play him. Now it gets a little dicey because now you have to decide who not to play. So do you not play Morikawa? Do you not play Cam Smith? Or I decide to fade Daniel Berger. Didn't know you guys were going to play, but yeah, I'm going to fade. So I'm trying to use maybe last year, because it was different time of year, as a bit of an outlier. And, you know, Berger came out firing because, you know, he was in pretty good form after the restart. I'm not saying he's not in good form now, but if you look at 2019, he only finished 33rd. And then the other time he played in 2015, he was 72nd. So maybe he doesn't love the course. I think he could have done a little better last week. At least I was a little higher at him last week, and I was kind of left a little underwhelmed and kind of disappointed. So that kind of weighs in the back of my mind. He was 20th. I mean, not that 20th is bad, but you know, when all the other guys are 1, 2, 3, the guy you're fading is 20th and the die specialist component, then yeah, that's a little low for me. And then you look at his last 20 rounds, he was 33rd in approach. And if you're not really, it's not really a driver course, it's more of an approach course. You know, that kind of concerns me a little bit. And then he's 57th around the green. I thought that was a little low. So if I'm going to fade a guy up top, it's probably going to be Berger. And, you know, knowing my track record with fades, he's probably going to come out and finish top 5, and you guys are going to look like geniuses, but I'm going to go on record and go with Berger.
Yeah, Guru, you're not vibing. You're not vibing with Berger. My first play, I've got 3 plays here. My first play is the one and only Daniel Berger, because I'm keeping salary in mind. He's the lowest of all of them at $10K even, and he's 3 in our model. Okay, and I really like. You know, I mean, I've got him ranked 8th. You got him ranked 3rd, and the fact that he's the cheapest 10K player on the board in this field. The weight I put on putting, he's 13th in the field. He's 14th in greens in regulation. He's 14th in tee to green, and so yeah, you're right. He's not great around the green, but he's pretty good at scrambling, and so you know, the top quarter of the field, and so I'll take some Berger at 10K. And then I'm going to go with Webb Simpson as well, just for the obvious reasons. I mean, Webb Simpson, I mean, he's the defending champion. He's not even the top 3 highest guys. My rank was 4th. Your rank was 1st. And so, I mean, gosh, you got to take that guy, right? I mean, 12th in putting in this field, 9th in scrambling, you know, 22nd around the greens, 28th tee to green. Yeah, I'm taking Webb Simpson. And then my 3rd guy is Cam Smith, and I love Cam Smith. He's right close to minimum at 10.2. And you got to remember, we're putting value in this. And he's 5th overall in my model, and he's, what is he for the model? 12. The model 12th, and so he's a top 12 guy, top 6, top 5 guy for me. 12th in around the greens and 12th in scrambling, plus 25th in putting. And 27th in tee to green. Give me Cam Smith all day long. If he didn't have that blow up hole at the Masters, I think he would have been top 5 for sure. And he's got pretty good form. And then I'm going to fade DJ, and just because he just doesn't look like he cares right now. And maybe he's just getting away from the kids and playing. And maybe All Falcon Day is right. Maybe he's there this week because he's sponsored by RBC and he has to be there. And so to me, part of me, and I know this is, I don't know, it's probably wrong, but he has to be there. A lot of the big studs, they took them after the Masters, they took it off, man. And they're chilling, and he has to be there. And so I just don't think that, I don't know. I'm probably wrong, and I'm probably going to get the and Al Falcon Day does have a point. When does DJ ever look like he cares? That's a good point. But his play doesn't look like he cares. He always has that look on his face, but his play, I don't see any. You know what? I think it's been since Kevin Gnaw. He was playing really good, and then that whole situation with Kevin Gnaw at the WGC, and he hasn't played good since that moment on TV.
In fairness, that was like 3 weeks ago.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It was, but I'm just saying he's missed 2 cuts in a row, right?
Well, just has he played just the one, and then it was the match play, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he missed that, and then he missed the Masters, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's right. He can turn it on, but you know what? I had to fade somebody, and so he's the guy I fade, and so that brings us to the 9K range. And so in other summary, Guru doesn't believe in any of the 10K guys this week. I'm pretty much liking some of those guys. It's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be fun to put our outrights together because it's going to be interesting this week because I think we got a lot of variance in opinion.
I do wish Gnaw and DJ got paired together this week. That would be make cool. It happen.
It could.
I think they're fine. But
no, of course they are. But it would still be fantastic.
All right, we're going to go to the 9K, and we'll start with Guru on 9K.
Man, mine are all boring. Like, all of my picks are boring, but the article will be worth it tomorrow. That's all.
I can't wait.
All right, so I'm going to start with Fitzpatrick. So he's 5th in the model. He's another one of those guys that top 10% basically across the board, except for course history, and that's going to be kind of a thing for me. That it's one of those places where you just kind of show up and have a pretty good week. But if everything else fits, you ought to do well. He's got 4 top 40s and 6 trips here. So he's 8th as far as the Tiff Eagle, putting metric I used. Last 20 rounds, he's 3rd off the tee, 6th in putting overall, and then 21st around the green. And then the last 24 rounds, he's 19th in driving accuracy and 34st in greens and reg. And then his last 5 starts, he's got 5 top 34s. I mean, it checks a lot of boxes for me. It makes sense, and I can handle the 9100 for sure. I like Casey last week. He didn't score enough. He just kind of pissed me off. But you know what? He didn't really do anything completely wrong. So I'm going to ride him again because he still makes too much sense not to use. And he's probably going to burn me again because thy name is Paul Casey and that's what you do. But yet, he's top 10% across the board, except for, top 10% in field average DraftKings points. Last 24 rounds, he's 32nd in driving accuracy and 17th in greens and regs. So that kind of checks a box for here. Last 20 rounds, he's 7th in approach, 3rd around the green, and 9th in putting. Again, checks a couple of boxes there. 4th in the die specialist ranking. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 on my board. He's 4th in comps. I mean, the only thing that bothers me, he hasn't really played here much. I mean, when he was here, he played more regularly. It was like 2009 to 2014. And so he's popped up a couple of times since, but they've all been miscuts. So he's one of those that, if he thinks the Masters did him dirty, he may just come and just, get his 2 rounds in and go home. Or if he's really trying to work through something and thinks it was the weather or him, who knows, maybe he'll flip a switch, but I'll take a stab for 92. He just makes a lot of sense to me compared to everybody else in that area. So my third one was tough. But I decided to go a little, looking at ownership, I mean, they're all about the same, but I'm going to go Terrell Hatton because that's not somebody I normally play, and it made some sense. So he top 10% in average DraftKings points, so he's going to score a little bit. Last 24 rounds, he's 21st in driving accuracy, 23rd in greens and regs. So, I mean, again, that formula seems to be working, and that's kind of where I landed with most of my guys. Last 20 rounds, he's 7th off the tee, 13th in approach, and 46th in putting. So, and he's played here a couple of times. He's 29th, missed cut, and got that 3rd, on the book. So he makes some sense to play, and I liked him better, and I thought the I wasn't thrilled about the 95. I'd have been happier if he was a little cheaper, but I couldn't go cheaper I couldn't go any lower because the cheapest guy in the 9K range again is the guy I'm going to fade. I faded, Sunjay last week, and I'm going to fade him again, and pretty much for the same reasons last week. I don't think I'll have quite the same, blowout success, nearly finishing dead last, but he's still first off the tee and first in putting over the last 20 rounds. But the 97th around the green and the 117th in approach, which is supposed to be your bread and butter, you're just sucking. And I wouldn't be, I haven't looked at it yet, but I will seriously consider the make cut no odds on whatever they are and play them for sure. And, the 2 times he's played here, he's missed the cut, which is another, not really another good sign. And then you kind of look at his overall form, for 9K, I need somebody pretty much to guarantee me they're going to finish in the top 10. And he's only got that 8th, the other 4 starts were the 21st, the 2 17ths, and then the miscut at the Masters. So, and then the last 24 rounds, he's only 42nd greens and reg just because the putter's been carrying him a little bit, I think too. So, yeah,
he's definitely not been ball striking the way he was earlier this season. That's for sure.
Yeah, he needs a break probably. I don't know. Maybe he'll get it, but he plays every week, so who knows?
You know what? Since he bought the house,
yeah,
he's too comfortable.
Yeah, he needs to go back on the road all the time. Stay at those Ramada Inns and have a good time.
The Ramada Inns.
I have a feeling it wasn't a Ramada, but
plus the folks over there at the Ramada.
Yeah. All right, Justin, what do you got for 9K?
All right, so very similar picks to the Guru. I like Fitzpatrick, 5th in the model. He's top 15 2 of the last 3 years. I mean, he's like I said, bottom of the, at 9K. He's the cheapest guy in 9K. I like him. I'll bet on him this week too. I think like someone commented earlier, course sets up perfect for him. I like his putter, let him down a little bit in Augusta. We'll see how he rebounds. And Hatton, I mean, like I said, he's 3rd in 2020. He's top 10 in DK points. He's 10th in the model. He fought back through some tough play last week, and I'll play him. And my 3rd play, I'm pretty nervous about. I think he could be running on fumes.
Let's go.
I know it. I know who it is.
I'll take Will Zalatoris.
Nice. That's not who I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Willie Z.
Take him. He's a young guy. I think.
Is anybody allowed to take Will Zalatoris besides me? That should be a rule.
No.
I think it's the first time I've taken him.
HR will see you after the broadcast.
Wait, hang on now. Did you take Will Zalatoris last week?
No.
Me?
All right. Yeah, you.
No, I didn't.
All right, so it's open. It's feeding season. We can all take Will Zalatoris.
One time you don't take him.
Listen, it's open. He was your guy.
I played him.
Now he's a free agent.
I played him, but I didn't pick him in my plays and fades. But yeah, come on, he's my boy. It's my boy, Blue.
Yeah, he's an excellent player. He's gonna win a lot of tournaments, and I'll take him as my 3rd play. Feel pretty good about him.
He can't win if he doesn't have full status.
He's gonna have full status.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's.
I know. All right, so who you fading?
I'm also fading Sanjay.
Oh,
he's not. His game.
Poor guy.
Sanjay's
going to go out there and put you guys. He's going to put a licking on you guys.
He just doesn't look like the same guy to me right now.
Hey, this guy he's got the shape shots. He got that 2nd shot.
We'll see. At that price, I'll take a pass on Sunday this week.
All right, Pro. Let's go, man. Let's get some.
Yeah, similar, very similar. I'm just going to knock these out real quick. Matt Fitzpatrick, the T34 at the Masters last week. Again, Justin hit on it. His putting wasn't very good at all. Dude just always shows up. I mean, he's not a guy. He's just as consistent as they come. I will also take Will Zalatoris, 9,700. The 4th in strokes gained tee to green just shows you that he's a ball striking delight. And we saw it on display. I mean, we saw it on display last week. I mean, it was literally a laser show, anywhere between 180 and in, and it was very fun to watch.
It was fun.
He's sneaky long too. So the guy looks like he weighs $105. He's 22nd overall in driving distance at 307.
Yeah.
So ridiculous stuff there. And then I'm going with Terrell Hatton. T18 last week, Terrell Hatton could shoot 64 and it would look like the most miserable person in the world. That's just how he is. But again, talking about a guy that can place the ball kind of in particular spots is very great, very, very good ball striker. Solid to decent around the greens. I'll take Terrell Hatton. I'm going to fade Sungjae for the reasons everybody else did. Listen, if he comes back and plays well, it's fine, but your ass can't go 13 over and expect us to show you respect the next week. I mean, it just doesn't how it work. It doesn't work that way.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty damn obvious. We got 3 fades on M, and last week when we had 3 fades all on one player, they didn't make the cut. That was Rory, and so let's let me wrap up 9K. I'm very similar to some of you guys. Obviously, we're going to have the 4 play on Fitzpatrick. I just think he's too good of a putter, and putting is great here. As a matter of fact, in this field, with the weight I gave, he's 9th in the field. He's 20th in tee to green in this field, and he's 7th in my rankings. And of course, he's 5th in the Guru ranking, and so I got to play him. I'm also going with Casey. Guru has him ranked 8th. I got him ranked 2nd, and I've got green. He's 5th in this field in greens and regulation. He's 5th in this field in scrambling. Those are 2 things that I really care about in this field, as well as putting. Putting is 40th, but he's 16th in tee to green and 26th around the green. Paul Casey's definitely in there, especially at the lower end of the 92 at $9,200. And then I am going with the Canadian Connors. I just like Connors. He's I'm the only one that picked him, but he's 13th in our model, in Guru's model, and he is top 10 in my model. And in this field with the weights I gave, he's number 1 in greens and regulation. He's number 2 in tee to green. He's 24th in scrambling, and he's 39th in putting. The only thing that he doesn't have a huge number on, a great number on, is around the green, and that's probably if that would be, that's an 89, which is not great. But if he's that good at scrambling and hitting greens, maybe he'll be all right. So I got Corey Connors, and he's also at the low range. And then my fade, this is where I'm going to get blistered a little bit. I'm fading Terrell Hatton. And so we got all 3 of you guys liking him. I'm going to fade him. I'll probably be the GOAT on this one, and I'll take the heat. But the way I weighted my thing, my model is obviously you guys already heard that. I'm not going to reiterate that. But in my model, he's 33rd, and he's 27th in putting. He's 126th in around the green. And he's 61st in greens and regulation, 33rd in scrambling. He is 15th in tee to green, which is good. But other than that, for a guy that's higher than all the other 9K guys at $9,500 that I picked, I'll definitely fade that guy. And you know what? It may come back to bite me, but that's where I'm going. So I'm the bad guy on that one. All right, let's go ahead and go with Justin on 8K. What do we got, buddy?
Okay, 8K. First guy I expect to be chalky. He's 4th in the model. Well, chalky for us, maybe not chalky everywhere. But he's 4th in the model. He's, I think, 2nd in points per DraftKings dollar.
Who's this?
Brian Harmon.
Oh, Harmon.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think he comes in great form. Had a tough Sunday, but played really well in Augusta. And so I'll play Harmon with my first guy. He's got 2 top 10s and 11 appearances here. So, he's played well, not great course history. My second guy is at 8,100, Kevin Gnaw. Kevin Gnaw is another guy that's in our top 10 in DraftKings points per dollar, which I that's a stat that I like a lot, and I follow that one. Also, his ownership is going to be quite a bit lower than a lot of these other guys that we're seeing.
Good point.
It's something that I'll look for. So
Hey, just for you, Kevin Gnaw in my model is number 1 and around the green, number 1 in the field.
Yep.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, absolutely. No, that's a great stat. He's 30-1, which is pretty low for him, really. What you see him in a lot of these tournaments. So I'll take Kevin Gnaw with my second play. With my third play, and I struggled with this one, I'm going to go Shane Lowry. And
you don't like Shane Lowry there, Dave?
And just throwing.
No. I don't dislike Shane Lowry, but he was one of the guys that I had scribbled the fade, but I didn't. But I thought about it.
Thought about it. No, I watched him play a bunch last weekend. And I think his game's rounding into form. I think he'll be a super low owned guy, and that'll be my third play, just for no stats alone, but just from my eye test and on a hunch.
All right.
And with the most predictable fade ever from me,
let's go, Lee, baby.
I'll give
Lee
Westwood one more time.
Oh,
Westwood.
Never home.
83.
I just wrote that one down.
That price is plummeting.
You actually got paid on that one.
I did. Yeah. Yep. 2.5 to 1. We'll take it.
Getting paid on someone's failure is the best.
Hey.
That's just as good as it gets.
That's right.
That's my feel good fade of the week right there.
I love it. All right, Pro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty similar. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I like Brian Harmon. How can't you? I mean, the dude has been rock solid. By the way, last week with a T12 on Augusta National, which is a big boy golf course, and Brian Harmon does not move it like these other guys. It was pretty damn impressive. I do understand the fact that Augusta does favor the lefty to an extent, but I have to play Brian Harmon, 21st in strokes gained putting. He's a big play for me. I'm also going to the Kevin Gnaw. I'm going in, man. Listen. Kevin Gnaw is, again, he's a fantastic ball striker. And when he gets hot with the putter, he'll let you know he'll walk shit in from 14 feet out. He's got no problem doing it. And so I like him. He had a sneaky top 12 at the Masters too. Like he was there. He was kind of more of a backdoor T12, but here we are. And then I'm going to go
there, man. You're right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood, which might seem a little. I mean, I know he's not a name that he's not a name we've really brought up a lot. But he faded on the weekend at the Masters, but he had a decent outing. He has 2 top 10s on the year. I get that he's not great overall for the season with what we would expect, but I think this is a good venue for him. And then I'm going to fade old Lee as well. Let's fade Lee's ass. I guess that's what we're doing, man. And listen, he was playing really, really well, and I think he wore himself out. I mean, there was a lot of golf there within the last 2-month period. And the thing with he's 128th in strokes gained off the tee at this point. So, and we kind of saw a little bit of it down the stretch. The last 3 or 4 tournaments he's been in contention, he's gotten a little loose. I mean, hell, we saw at Sawgrass, he put one in the drink on 2 that didn't know, or rather 4 that nobody even knew existed. So again, he's going to be my fade. Me and Justin are we're together on that one.
Well, and then the question about is the wife on the bag though?
That's a good question because she seems to be more successful than the son. But
by far,
yeah. I mean, listen, he's a younger man. He's not a young man. I mean, but I don't know. Even if she's on the bag, she's not making up for that.
It's kind of funny to say off the bag. She's on the bag. That's bad. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do my 8Ks, and we're gonna let Guru wrap up the 8K. I'm gonna reiterate. I got Kevin Gnaw, and not only is he number 1 in around the greens, he's 4th in scrambling in this field, and so he's 33rd in tee to green. And this is a good course for him, and he's at the bottom once again. I'm looking at price, $8,100, so he's near the bottom. And so somebody with those kind of statistics at that price point, he's going to be in a lot of lineups for me. I'm also going with Harmon. When Guru puts Harmon at number 4 in the model, and then where did my model? I keep saying it's just my stats. I had him actually at 23rd, but I really like him, and the fact that Guru had him that high, and then I looked at the fact that he's 16th in scrambling, and he's 22nd in putting, 33rd in around the greens. He's 26 tee to green. He's got all the looks, and plus he's in form. You guys playing great, so why wouldn't I play him? So I think all of us have so far Harmon and Gnaw. And then I'm going a little bit different. I'm going with Answer. And I think Answer, his game is good for this course. He's great around the greens. Now, he didn't exactly rank really, really high for me, but he was top 24. But I really like the fact that he's 11th in greens in regulation, 19th tee to green, 28th in scrambling. And so I like Answer, and I think he's going to be a little bit lower owned. I think a lot of people had him last week. And so I like him. And my fade is going to be Matt Kuchar. And I just,
thought about him. Thought hard.
Yeah. Well, he's 67th in the field in my rank. He's 53rd in putting, 51st in around the green, 116th in greens in regulation, 45th in scrambling, and 88th in tee to green in this field based on the last 24 rounds. And so I just, a guy 8K range to me, he's a mid 7K range guy based on recent form. And so that's my fade. And we'll let Guru wrap up the 8K range. What do you got, man?
You guys have beat this into the ground pretty good, was my guy. I didn't say he was still my guy.
That's right. I was going to say, I don't know if he's playing Kuchar.
all I'll say about Kuchar is, when I cooked up the course history, he had the number 1 ranking in the entire field. So he's somebody at least keep on your radar. But there are other 8K guys that made a little more sense to play. So the first guy I actually really liked, and you guys all hit on him, so I guess it's kind of a clean sweep in this one, is Kevin Gnaw. I think he stood out, and I was really surprised he was high as he was. I won't beat the stats, but the one thing I'll say is he's been here 14 times. And he's got 7 top 20s. That's pretty good for me. Harmon, again, we're all playing him, so I think that's another 4-way sweep there. But 3rd in comps, 7th in form, 8th on the die, and 10th as far as the TIFF Eagle with the putting. So that was enough for me. The third wheel, there were a couple of ways you could go, and I thought about Fleetwood. I thought about, Shane Lowry, but I'm going to go Uncle Sergio. Uncle Sergio.
I like that one.
So he was 12th in the die, 11th in comps. He's got the 5th last year in the last 20 rounds. He's 5th off the tee. I think it's 3rd in approach and 33rd around the green. And then last 24 rounds, he's 19th greens and reg. So kind of mix it all together, and yeah, it made some sense. So Sergio would be number 3.
Jeff Feinberg went on the record and bet him outright this week.
Oh. Makes some sense. And I'm going to make it 3. I'm going to go with Lee Westwood too. I took the low hanging fruit because it made sense, but the 85th in the comps, which really wasn't great. He was only 36th in the die. And then, 71st around the green last 20 rounds, and then 90th in driving accuracy and 110th in greens and reg last 24. Yeah, get the girlfriend or wife or fiance back on the bag, man. Please, I
do wanted something. To fade Billy Horschel so bad.
Oh, I did too. I thought about it.
He's such a D-bag, but I couldn't find a way because his game doesn't. It kind of sets up for you a little bit. I couldn't do it. I certainly wasn't going to pick him, but I was trying to find every reason to not pick that guy. I'm glad nobody did. Well done, everybody. Well done.
All right. Hey, Guru, keep it going, man. I want to hear your 7Ks. Just keep rolling.
I liked everybody in the 7K. I like the 8s. I like the 7s. Having to make me pick 3 was just tough. But I picked the one first that I probably wish maybe I picked somebody else, but it was kind of an easier pick just because it was pretty highly ranked in the model. So I'm going to start with Russell Henley, 9th. Track record with Henley is really not great. Every time I'm on, he's off, and every time I'm off, he's above average. We'll say. I won't say great because he's let me down, but I'm going to try one more time because he's from up the road. His course history is kind of a mixed bag because he's got 4 missed cuts, but he's also got a 6th, the 23rd, and a 26th. So which Jekyll and Hyde are you going to get? The last 24 rounds, he's 13th greens and reg, the last 20 rounds, he's 28th in approach and 17th in putting. And, he's top 20% across the board and everything except for that course history thing. So let's just hope he shows up and, likes that, southeastern weather again and does okay. For 7,900 though, and where I've got him ranked, hopefully it's a top 20 or better. I'm going to go with Charlie Hoffman too.
Chucky.
Yeah, I thought hard about this one, but just the way he's been playing recently is just kind of too hard to pass up.
Yeah, he's playing good. He's playing real good.
I mean, that weekend Valero stuff, hopefully he can keep it going. I'm not expecting that kind of, show again, but even half that, he'll be worth the money for sure. But first in approach, last 20 rounds, 39th in putting, 45th off the tee. He's got 6 top 45s here in the last 9 trips here, and then he's got 4 top 34s in his last 4 starts. And then he's top 20% in DraftKings points in the field. So, made some sense there. I was kind of surprised I ended up here with my third one, but really not considering where he ranked in the model. But Michael Thompson, so he's going to get some love from me. He's 15th, in the model, and hopefully you can still get him at 125 to 1 because I think he makes some sense, and I think that's a pretty good, show of odds for him. But he's got 3 top 20s in 8 trips here, which isn't really, too bad. He's got 3 top 34s in his last 5 starts. But the thing that sold me the most on him, last 24 rounds, he's 15th in driving accuracy and 10th in grades and reg, which I think is a pretty good combination. If you notice, most of my picks have kind of all featured guys reasonably good there. And then even the last 20 rounds, he's 33rd off the tee, 25th around the green, and 17th with the Tiff Eagle putting that I drew up. So those are my 3. Then the fade was tough because, it's a bigger range. You've got guys all over the board. And, I'm going to fade the most beautiful man probably in the 7K range. I'm going to fade Harry Higgs.
Oh, no, not Harry.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to fade Harry Higgs.
Right. That's it's not right.
Who would ever fade that guy?
It doesn't make sense.
Guru.
I know.
I won't give you a chance to fade somebody else. You can't fade him.
It hurt my heart, but you know what? He was 69th in the ranking. I got to fade him. Not because he was 69th, just because he just didn't make sense. And I'll give you a couple reasons why. So he's got 3 missed cuts in his last 5 starts. He was 100th in the comps as far as the model. He was, 90th as far as the die specialist ranking. Last 24 rounds, he's 115th in driving accuracy. In the last 20 rounds, he's 87th off the tee, 84th in putting, and 117th around the green. There are probably other people I could have faded, but this just seemed like an easier fade than some of the others. My fallback choice, but I was a little nervous because the other times I've faded him, he's come back and bit me hard in the ass. I really wanted to fade Alex Noren, if I'm going to be honest. But, that's just seemed more borderline, like I'm probably going to be on the wrong side of that. So Harry Higgs seems easier.
I'm distraught, but I'll have to get over it. I like the guy, but even All Falcon Day says he can't putt, and All Falcon Day is pretty good at this stuff. All right, we'll go with Justin. Who you got in 7K range?
All right. I like a lot of the guys in the 7K. I got all different guys from Guru, but I think 7K is loaded with guys to play. I'll go my first guy, Chris Kirk. He's 14th in the model. In his last 8 tournaments played, he's got 6 top 25s. He's been super consistent lately.
Form's there.
Yeah, form's there. He's 7,500, and he's top 20 in our DraftKings points per dollar. Love him.
Yeah, he said Hideki was a 1-arm putter or something like that. I can't remember what all he said.
But for 51 more weeks, you're going to be right with that statement, so it's good.
Yeah, he did it 1 week.
Sure.
That's great.
He did say my man putted with 1 arm.
I remember that. Sorry, we didn't mean to hijack Justin, man.
Nah,
you were just glossing over Kirk, and so
he loves Kirk, and I don't disagree with him.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Kirk's my first guy. Chuck Hoffman was my second guy. For everything Guru said, he's top 10 in 3 of the last 6 tournaments he's played. With all the stuff at Valero, like Guru mentioned. So Hoffman's my second guy. My third guy, I'm going to go down the list a little bit with Brendan Todd. Brendan Todd is number 1 in driving accuracy on tour. Where I had a good stat on him as well. He's really high in our points per DraftKings dollar as well. So that Brendan Todd, I expect his ownership to be extremely low.
Yeah,
he can putt. He can putt.
He can putt, and so he's going to be driving accurately. You're going to need that here. He's going to be putting. I'll take some Brendan Todd. He's the type of guy that'll win at this course. Long shot guys win here occasionally.
That's true.
Hey, Justin. So when I doctored up my putting with a Tiff Eagle, Todd is second in the whole field for me.
Same
right?
here.
Love
Same
it. Here. Yeah, I mean, maybe if you don't like him outright, maybe get him in a top 5, top 10. They'll be really good odds.
Yeah, he also came 20th in around the green.
For my fade, I really struggled because there's a lot of different ways you can go. I'm going to fade Zach Johnson.
Ooh.
I think
that's kind of bold. I like it though.
Yeah, if that'll be another strictly on my eye test and form alone. I just haven't seen him. I felt like a month ago he was trending in the right direction, and the last few weeks he hasn't played as well. And I'll get on board with him not playing well again this week. So I'll fade Zach Johnson.
I kind of like Zach. All right, Pro, what do you got in 7K?
Chucky Hoffman. Love me some Chucky Hoffman.
We have a lot of alignment this week.
I'm pissed he didn't play last week because he was a chalk first-round leader. Like, we could have bet the house on it. He was going to be a first-round leader. But no, I'm going to go with Chucky for the same. We're not going to beat that horse here. 18th in strokes gained. Chris Kirk as well. I love Chris Kirk as much as Justin does. Last time out at TPC, he had a T6. He's 17 in strokes gained around the green. I agreed with Nick earlier when he said that's an important stat this week. And then I'm going to go with Kiz. I'm going to go with Kevin Kisner. For me, I know he missed the cut last week again. There's certain golf courses that Kevin Kisner can compete at, and there's certain ones that he can't. Augusta National, there's some. Anytime these courses get over 7,500, 7,600 yards, it just makes it's so difficult on a guy like that. I like Kiz this week. And then I'm going to fade Dylan for Telly. And nothing more.
The glasses.
Nothing, the glasses maybe. But he was terrible last week. And I know it's the Masters. But again, he's for no other reason than what I saw last week. I'm going to go ahead and fade for Telly.
Yeah, my shallowness continues to shine. All right, 7K. I'm going to repeat a couple. Kirk, I love Kirk. He finished, really high, 6th in my model. The guy's 9th around the greens, 21st scrambling, 10th in tee to green, 26th in greens in regulation, and 45th in putting. So he's right there. And at $7,500, he's a lock. Hoffman. We don't have to beat that one, but Hoffman's right there. 4th in tee to green. I love it. And he's 9th in my model. And in the fact that Guru has him at 7th in the model, yeah, give me some Hoffman. And then my third guy, I had actually written Thompson, and I scratched it out. And I like Thompson. Don't get me wrong. Thompson did really well for me last week at $6,100. He made a lot of cuts for me. But I went ahead and went with good old Christian Bezuidenhout. And the reason I went with Christian, number one, I think he can win this thing because in this field, he's 5th in putting. He's 10th around the greens. He's 2nd in scrambling. And so, all the things that I deem really, really important, he's in the top 5 in top 10. So, he's not great at greens in regulation, but he don't have to be when you're number 2 in scrambling and 5th in putting. So I'm taking that guy, and he's only $7,700. Yeah, he's in there. And then my fade is a guy that I typically fade, and he typically misses cuts, and that's Charles Howell III. And I'm fading him because
he's Charles Howell III.
Well, he's not good
nice
anymore.
guy.
He's not good anymore. And so he used to be. He's a great guy, but he's not making cuts. He's 54th in my ranking. He's 89th in putting. Okay, he's 45th in around the green. He's 77th in scrambling. He's 27th in greens and regulation. He ain't gonna be great in greens and regulation this week. And so that's it. That's my cut. And yes, I just said that. And so, But now it's time to jump into the 6K. And every time I faded Howell, he hasn't made a cut. So that's just the way I feel. And let's go into some value plays. We'll start with Pro.
Yeah, Matt Neesmith, man.
I like it.
I mean, of course he hasn't won. But he's a rock solid chalk ball striker. I think he's going to hang around. I don't think he's going to win. He can get you a top 25, and I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. He does have 2 top 10s. He's 8th in strokes gained approach to green, which we talked I like this week. So I'll go Matt Neesmith. Stuart Sink. How about this, man? Stuart Sink with the T12 at the Masters. Let's roll. I don't know why, but I love me some Stuart Sink this week again. I'm not picking him to win, but I think he could be another guy that could be surprisingly good. And then Patton Kazire. Recent form outside of Valero, or what are they? It has been shaky. However, at 6,500, he had a T9 at Valero. He's had a down year. He's 33rd in strokes gained putting. He would be my kind of my third value pick there in 6K.
I like it. That's a great value play. And Guru, like I said, has him ranked really high for a 6K guy. Justin, what do you got in value plays?
Yep, I had Kazire. I think he might be number 1 in the points per DraftKings dollar. I'm pretty sure. He's 100 to 1. I mean, I think for Drew laid it out. I mean, I think he's a great play this week at 65. You know, he's right in the middle of the pack there in the 6Ks. Had Stuart Sink. He won in 2000 and 2004.
Oh, Stewie, man.
Yeah. And he's in the best form he's been in 10 years. It seems like
easy.
You know.
Yep.
So
easily.
So I'll take Stuart Sink, and I'll give you another old guy. I'll give you Jim Furyk, who is in our top 10 in points per dollar. 175 to 1. Distance doesn't matter here. He's going to hit it straight down the middle. So give me Furyk as a long shot.
I like it too. I like it.
He's pissed me off though. Furyk's done me dirty. I've rolled Furyk solid for a few times at that value pick, and he hasn't treated me right. He hasn't treated me right.
Right.
I haven't treated you right, man. Come on. I'm the one putting him up there, too.
All right.
This is what how do you think I feel? Come on.
He hasn't treated Nick right at all.
Just letting all Falcon Day know that Howell has done well making cuts, but just not recently. He's missed 4 of the last 7 tournaments. So, facts. Yeah. All right. So, let's go to Guru, 6Ks.
You guys are killing me, or maybe I'm just having an off week. But Kazire was probably one of my favorite plays of the entire board across the whole salary structure. He's the number 1 putter I had ranked in the model, which, carried some weight for me for sure. He's another one of those guys, from the deep South, plays a lot of those, tourneys, is familiar with the area and stuff. So that ranked pretty high. The T9 at Valero carried some weight for me just because that's a pretty high mark for him. I'm not expecting him to win, but, I think he should perform, pretty well. And probably, I would say 2 hidden things you probably don't know. The last 24 rounds, he's 22nd in greens and reg. In the last 20 rounds, he's 16th in approach. So I think he's got enough stuff to work. And if he can keep the hot putter going, I don't care if he loses strokes off the tee, if he's going to, gain 5 or 6 strokes with the putter. Mm-hmm. I've talked up Furyk for many weeks, and I'm going to throw him up again. He's won the damn thing twice. He likes it down here. He's got 10 top 21s in 17 trips here. So that's a pretty good track record for liking the course. Granted, most of that's early on, but if he finds a little something, catches a lucky tee time with the proper gust of winds or whatever you want to call it, hopefully he can show up and at least make the cut, and whatever happens after that will be gravy. Naismith is an interesting one too, because I had him as well, but the things for him, he's from South Carolina, so that's a bonus. He proposed to his wife on the course, and it's one of those, hidden courses that he kind of likes. One of those under the radar facts that one of those did he
feed dolphins with his mouth? I mean, did he?
I don't think so, but I imagine he played some putt-putt. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but I think he's motivated to come down and get some family to come down. I mean, Aiken's not that far of a drive, and I'm sure they got tickets. So I'm sure he's wanting to do well and improve on what he's, done previously. So there's that. I like Sink as well, too. I mean, mainly because, if you catch the guy, from last week, I expect he'll have a little bit of a, I don't want to say letdown, but he ought to be able to run last week's form into a respectable showing here and hopefully make the cut, top 30, top 40. So those are 4. And I was trying to look down the board because those are the only 4 I had on there. And I guess I'm going to throw up a 5th to make it really interesting. How about we say, I don't want to touch the chalk. So how about I go with Bryce Garnett? 175 to 1. He's right under Pat Perez. He's got some respect, nothing otherworldly here in terms of, course history, but it's, he's got some coming in. He checks out as far as the comps. He's in a, above average putter. He scores a little bit, seems to do okay on some of these, coastal courses. And he just randomly shows up in some, fields. I kind of feel like he's due. So there you go.
Yeah,
so,
I looked at him. 8th in driving accuracy too. I thought about him.
Okay. As far as 6, I like him too. As far as 6K guys, I got 4 of them. By far, and I mean not even close. My number 1 6K guy is at $6,900. His Andrew Putnam, and in this field, he's just. I mean, he's 3rd in scrambling. He's 10th in putting. He's 17th around the greens, and he's 28th in greens in regulation. That guy is built for this course at $6,900. Yeah, give it to me. He's even 59th overall in tee to green, and so he ranks really, really, really high in my model. So I love me some Putnam this week at $6,900. He's going to be in a lot of my my lineups, and if he screws me, then yeah, I'm going to have another plasma selling appointment downtown St. Louis. I also had Furyk in there at $6,600, and then I had Windham Clark. Windham Clark actually showed up pretty good for me, and let me see what I have him. Hold on. Did you have any Windham Clark there? Hold on.
He's lower than I thought he'd be, so he's 61st for me.
Yeah, I liked him because he's 11th around the greens and 13th in scrambling and even 32nd in putting. And so in the last 24, it's $6,800. And so that's one of the reasons I like him. And then the super sleeper, 6,000, bottom of the barrel. This is a guy that's going to let you jam all the other guys in. Cheapest guy you can get is Bill Haas. And in this field, on this tournament, he's 14th around the greens. He's 14th in scrambling. He's 52nd in putting and 77th in greens in regulation. For a guy that you cannot get anybody cheaper, he's the guy that I might sneak into a few lineups and do some stars and scrubs. Even though this is not really the week for stars and scrubs, I'll have a few of those. I'll have a few lineups where I'll have Simpson and Berger and Cantley and so forth. And so, but he's a guy that really measured pretty high for a 6K player. And so it worked last week with Thompson. It worked with some of the other guys, these low 6K guys. And so he's my super sleeper. He's probably going to shoot a 79 on round 1. And I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm not texting you guys for the rest of the weekend. I'm done.
Yeah, Bill Haas
600 to 1 right now.
Yeah, I expect him to shoot 78. We'll see what happens.
And he might, but at that price point and kind of those metrics, I'm just taking a few flyers on him. He's not going to be in 70% of my lineups.
I respect.
All right, we're going to jump right to that was a lot of fun, guys. We went through a lot of players, and so hopefully it adds value. And Ryan did go Tom Hoagie, and so that's also a pretty decent play right there. Let's go ahead and go back to our optimal lineup and let Guru kind of talk us through this optimal lineup. And I took it off the scroll so we can actually read it without waiting.
Oh, nice. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. So the this week's six pack spent all 50,000 and projected it out at 606.1 points, which is a pretty good number.
That's a huge number.
Yeah, and it ranks in line with 2017, 18, and 19. It's kind of right there. I mean, the outlier still last year, but Webb won last year fair and square. It's just they all scored pretty well, and a lot of people scored high. I think the course is just different in June than April. I expect it to be a tougher go round for sure. So I think this 606 is going to fall closer to what the number actually is. But Webb was number one in the model, 10,700. Harmon, Brian Harmon, number 4 in the model, 8,700. Brian Fitzpatrick, number 5 in the model, 9,100. Charlie Hoffman, number 7 in the model, 7,800. Michael Thompson, 15th in the model, 7,200. And Patton Kazire, 20th in the model, 6,500. So you've got recent form, you've got course history, you've got some guys that can score, you've got some guys that can putt, you've got the strokes gain metrics, that show up. I mean, it's nice that they all fit together based on, the projected points, but they're all guys I like individually. They're all guys I think will do well. It's one of those weeks that I'm really hoping that all 6 get through. I mean, the Optimals put up some good players individually, but it hasn't been the right combination. But this is one of those weeks that I feel pretty good that it's kind of a underappreciated. I won't say underowned, but I'll say underappreciated 6-pack, and we'll see what we can do with them. There's a lot of, I don't want to say winner, but I think you've got to have the right 8K guy this week for sure. But I think the 7K guys are where you're going to make your money. And so I think, between, Thompson and Kirk and Henley and all the other, assortment of guys down there, I think 7's where, do your homework on the 7s and spread around a little bit in the 6s. And hopefully you've got the right combination up top wherever you want to go.
I love it. I'm definitely going to play that lineup. And I might play some other variations of the lineup. Like I might take out Thompson and put in the Bezuidenhout, and do some flip-flopping there with some other guys. But that lineup is when you can put a lineup projected together based on your model at 606 points, give me. So I'm on it.
And I like the fact they're all in the top 22. There's no dropping down to snagging somebody 30, 35.
No,
We've done pretty well on weeks like this when we've been able to jam guys closer to the top. So that's kind of
And actually you got 4 of them in the top 7. And so, I mean, when you get 4 of the top 7 and projected into one lineup, jam them in. So I love it. All right, we're going to jump into some outrights real quick, and then our official outrights, as we always do, will come out tomorrow evening. We'll also have tomorrow the profile of a contender, and once again, I will say it's the best article in the industry, and hopefully everybody gets it and shares the tweet when it goes out because it is just spectacular, and once again we're very blessed that Guru takes the time to put that together because he goes digging pretty hard. He's digging like a retired vet at a beach with a metal detector, and so he's all over it.
I was just going to add on his lunch break from his part-time job at Walmart. Yeah, there you go.
That was really bad, but I did it really quick. All right, so anybody want to share a few of their outrights now?
I got it. Yeah, I'll take Cantley 17-1. We'll also go with my guy Terrell Hatton at 22-1. Daniel Berger 23-1. Chucky Hoffman at 40, and then Chris Kirk at 60.
I like Kirk at 60, man. Yep. That's a good number.
Yeah, I got Kirk at 60. I got Kazire at 100. I'll probably go Gnaw at 30, even though 30 seems like a short number.
It does. It kind of does.
You'd think you'd see him at 50.
Man, look at his metrics on this course.
Yeah. So that's I'll play those 3, and I'm sure there'll be some top 10s and 20s for sure.
Yeah, Guru, who do you got?
So the odds I stuck in the model, I got them pretty early, and then I went back and looked, and I didn't bother updating because there's just a lot of change. So I dove in pretty early, but I've got 6 for now. So I've got Casey at 23. I really wanted to do Gnaw at 30, but I just couldn't do it, especially since I had seen other people post 50 and 60. I would have done the 50 or 60, but 30, there wasn't enough Casamigos in my house to make that happen. So I ended up doing Harmon at 30. I did Sergio at 45. I did Shane Lowry at 55. I did Fleetwood at 55. And then the deeper dive down the board, slightly deeper dive, not as deep as normally, but I did Emiliano Grillo at 80.
I like that. This is one name we didn't even bring up tonight.
No.
Wow.
Never a place to really bring him up, but yeah, there's the outright.
So far, I've got a few, and once again, I'll put all my official ones, and we'll put our consensus out tomorrow. I got Cam Smith at 23. You guys know I love Cam. I got Russell Henley at 50. I like him, and I like that number a lot. And I also got Answer at 30. And so those are the three main guys. And I went ahead and put a little something on Andrew Putnam at 175. It's fun, and like I said, he looks good there. And then I did and another name we hadn't even talked about, Sam Burns. Sam Burns, I know that he hasn't been in best form recently, but when you can get a Sam Burns guy at 175 to 1 with his caliber and the fact that he has contended quite a bit this year, that number seems really, really high. And it's just, it's worth a few bucks.
For sure.
So, I definitely, that's where I'm at. And I threw one last little one on CT Pan just for sentimental reasons.
In case shit hits the fan. That's right.
That's he's 150. And
he won here. I mean, come on.
Ago.
I don't need him to win again. Just, make a top 5, top 10, whatever, he'll do all right.
He's an official favorite of the show. I mean, we love the guy.
We can get him on one time. We'll definitely try. Hey, going back to Henley for a second, Henley, this is an interesting test case for Henley because, Henley lives on Kiowa. That's a die course. This is a die course. It's just up the road. So hopefully, he does well enough this week to maybe keep him on your radar. And maybe that's somebody to, snag an outright on or something for the PGA in a couple of weeks.
I saw Morikawa played Kiowa over the last couple of days. I posted some pictures of him out there getting ready to repeat.
Yeah, I think he'll do all right out there.
Okay, so Ryan just says Burns won't make the cut. Ryan, I'll bet you a Dr. Pepper he makes the cut.
A Dr. Pepper's a high wager now. We don't want the feds coming in here.
Hey, we can go to Mountain Dew.
Ooh, all right. Now the sugar level's been jacked up.
Gentlemen bet, I think he will make the cut. He's saying he won't, and I'll take my punishment on air next week if I lose, and I will give it to him a little bit in the ribs if I win. So that's just the way it goes. It's fun.
Hey, did anybody as far as the Masters, did anybody pick Decky and win a picture?
Nobody.
Close, but no cigar.
Nobody had him. We'll make it a beer, Ryan. Nobody picked him, and so yes, the contest is back out. It's open. If you're watching this on YouTube, go to the comment section, submit your player to win. If he wins, and you're the first one to submit that player, and you will win an autographed photo of that player. Also, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel to be eligible, and it also makes us happy because it shows that you guys are appreciating the effort that we're putting into this. We got 4 guys here that work pretty hard on this show, and anytime that we can get a little bit of love on the like button, the thumbs up, and the subscribe, it makes us feel really great. So thank you guys for all you're doing for us. Any final words?
Well, good luck to everybody this week. We'll bounce back.
I'm gonna be rich.
Yes, absolutely. And then once again, be looking for tweets tomorrow for our picks and our final guru profile of a contender article, and we'll chat with you on Thursday night from the tips.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys.
Sounds
Peace
great.
out, y'all. Thanks.
Bye.
Did you get all that? If not, make sure you head over to Hammercast.com, subscribe, and join the Hammer Nation. Until next time,